Well, there is an absolute civil war going on in the American conservative right with a pro-Israel crowd trying to take out, well, everyone else. Tucker Carlson is their primary person in the crosshairs. I'll tell you what I think is actually going on and also share accusations that have been coming at me. Welcome back to the JP Rex channel, my freedom-loving friend. This is where we help spread the light of truth and freedom, because truth conquers. So, united we stand, divided we fall. Well, there's an attempt to divide the right, and it very much appears to be, I don't know if it's orchestrated by Israel, but it's pro-Israel politicians, speakers, notable figures, trying to intimidate everybody else who's like, nah, I think America's trying to intimidate them to take their pro-Israel first stance at all costs. And it is, if you've been on Twitter, it is just a bloodbath out there in the digital sense. And Tucker Carlson is the primary person in the crosshairs. I mentioned I'm getting accusations, being accused of heinous things. I'll share that with you. And honestly, I think what is going on is extremely simple to recognize. I'll share that with you in this video. But first, in summary, starting just a couple days ago, a very orchestrated, and I can't stress that enough, a very well orchestrated campaign to attack Tucker Carlson and people that support him, saying, hey, if you choose Tucker, you're an anti-Semite. If you support him, we need to cancel Tucker and cancel you too if you don't unite with our pro-Israel cause. If you question anything about Israel, you are an anti-Semite. That's the gist of what's going on. And there was a Republican Jewish coalition conference where some of the clips we'll see were taken from, and you can see these signs, propaganda signs. Tucker is not MAGA. So they're trying to essentially reach the minds of MAGA Republicans saying, yeah, you're questioning Israel. You're not MAGA. Tucker's not MAGA. Not many people supported Trump more than Tucker. He's not MAGA. So, are these credible claims? We'll see in a second. But first, at that conference, they had a lot of conservative speakers, and one of them was conservative influencer, goes by the name The Officer Tatum, who recently had some criticisms of my videos. I'll share that with you in a second, allegedly. But first, I think this short clip of him sums up the one side's the pro-Israel side's argument, who's coming out very well orchestrated, sums it up pretty well. Here it is.
The reality is that Israel is one of our greatest allies. And for people to think otherwise, you fall in one of two categories. You're either ignorant or you simply hate Jews.
Now that sums it up really well. That's the argument. If you question Israel and therefore don't support them at all costs, you're either ignorant, as in you're uneducated, so listen to me, or you hate Jews. So the term anti-Semite, it's the word of the month that's being used to try and intimidate people into support. Wow, I guess I don't want to be an anti-Semite. I guess I got to join your side. Now that brings up, we'll get to a lot of other interesting things, but that sums up or leads us to what's really going on from my point of view. Here it is. This is the woke mind virus. Here's what the woke mind virus likes to do. It will use one word to smear your character as a hateful person if you do not comply with a woke mind virus. This is the exact same page out of the playbook that the woke mind virus used when it was implanted in the left 5 years ago. BLM riots. Hey, if you question the motives of BLM, you are a racist. That is the one word that they used to smear your entire being into being a hateful person. You're a racist. If you question DEI, you are a racist. If you question BLM, yeah, the founders embezzled millions of dollars, but you are a racist. That was the woke mind virus picking this one character assassination word, racist. If you weren't very compliant with getting the jabs, guess what? You were a killer. You're responsible for other people dying. If you question men in dresses reading to children, you're a transphobe. The woke mind virus uses this page out of the playbook often. It will use one word to smear your character as a hateful person to try to intimidate you into complying. And if you're strong and have courage and don't comply, they use that to try to assassinate your character and discredit you. Well, in this case, the word is anti-Semite. So before we get to the likes of Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin, who are two people that are really heading this charge against other Republicans for not being pro-Israel enough, am I simply saying that their talking points are a page out of the woke mind virus's playbook? Yes, I am. We can see it. It's not using the word racist or transphobe or anti-. It's using the word anti-Semite. New word, same playbook. And to me, it's extremely discrediting to them, and because it's just them using woke propaganda. And we'll get to see how all of them are getting ratioed in the comments in just a second. But first, I would say, if someone comes out like they're super pro-Israel, above America, and they're just honest with it and like, oh, okay, like, good, I respect your position. But when they just come out smearing, if you don't agree with me, you're an anti-Semite, and there's no proof of hating Jewish people, no evidence of it, and in fact, it's just blatantly not true, I don't respect that. I don't respect people using woke tactics. And it's funny because people who for years called out the left for using woke tactics, Ben Shapiro being one of them, now they are the ones that are using them. Now, Officer Tatum, who you just saw telling you, hey, if you question Israel, you're either ignorant or you're a Jew hater. It's nice nuance there with woke propaganda. Here he is on Twitter doing something else that's woke, denying what they're doing. Here he says, you're acting like a leftist. Nobody's trying to cancel Tucker. People are calling him out on his BS. That's a woke tactic, denying doing what you're doing. Here is Mark Levin. We'll see more from him. One of the prime speakers at the very same conference.
We're going to cancel them and deplatform them.
Okay, well, they're definitely trying to cancel them. By the way, we'll see how the America First right is responding to this orchestrated, vicious campaign of intimidation. And we'll also hear from Tucker Carlson himself, how he's responded. I'll share some of the accusations being thrown at me. But first, one of the prime spearheads of this woke campaign, to be honest with you, is Ben Shapiro. Now, for context on this post, they're attacking Tucker because they want to attack him. And remember, Charlie Kirk's donors were trying to get him to stop having Tucker Carlson appear at Turning Point USA events as a speaker. So whether it's deep state or just genuinely pro-Israel first Americans, they've long time wanted Tucker out of the way. Now they're going after him. So one of the things they're using as fodder for that fire right now is Tucker Carlson recently did an interview with Nick Fuentes. I don't follow Nick Fuentes. I don't know much about him. I know there's a lot of accusations about him that he hates Jewish people, hates women, hates black people. Those might be credible, and they also might be woke fodder. I don't know. I'm not interested in following the guy. But for context on this post of Ben Shapiro's, apparently followers of Nick Fuentes, they call themselves groypers. You can see that word here. And Ben Shapiro comes in hot with this post. No to the groypers. I mean, it's kind of like, here's the playbook, everybody. We're going out on Monday. Get them. No to the groypers. No to cowards like Tucker Carlson who normalize their trash. No to those who champion them. No to demoralization. No to bigotry and anti-meritocratic horse poop. No to anti-Americanism. No. And here's a quick word from Ben Shapiro. Please expand on that, buddy.
Hey, folks, I want to do something different on today's show. We're going to cover one topic in depth. That topic is, I think, the most important thing happening in the country. It was a hot topic last week, but I wanted to take some time to really gather my thoughts and speak on it in coherent fashion, holistic fashion. That topic is the fragmentation of the political right. That fragmentation is being caused purposefully by a splinter faction of people led by a young man named Nick Fuentes.
There's a good logical argument, but there's a major flaw in it that Ben Shapiro and a lot of these people make. They're basically saying, hey, Jew hatred on the American right, there's no place for that. I would agree. I would 100% agree with that. I would agree with like no hatred is good. Hatred for any group, whether it's the left hating white people or the right hating Jews. I'd say, yeah, that does not represent my values. No Jew hatred. I'm on board with that. But the problem is them labeling people as Jew haters. That's the problem. They're doing that very inaccurately. So the logical argument is like, dude, doesn't it make sense? No Jew hatred is a good thing. It's like, yeah, I agree with you. But I just walked into the trap of then agreeing with you accusing people of being an anti-Semite, which you're doing out of the woke playbook. You're labeling people as that. You're labeling me, JP Sears, is that. That's the trap in an otherwise sound logical argument.
Call themselves the Groypers. They are white supremacists. They hate women, Jews, Hindus, many types of Christians, brown people of a wide variety of backgrounds, blacks, America's foreign policy, and America's Constitution. They admire Hitler and Stalin. And that splinter faction is now being facilitated and normalized within the mainstream Republican Party. The main agent in that normalization is Tucker Carlson, who is an intellectual coward, a dishonest interlocutor, and a terrible friend.
All right, let's see what Ben Shapiro's comment section has to say about that. Ian Carroll, hey, you remember that time when you told everyone to take the Ben? Hodge twins, you were never Trump and told people to get the COVID shot. You aren't MAGA, get effed. By the way, that's a great point, as some of the propaganda of this campaign is Tucker's not MAGA. We're MAGA. Ben Shapiro is a terrible representative of that. He openly was against Trump and fully supported Ron DeSantis. Ben Shapiro is definitely not MAGA. He chose MAGA as, okay, that's better than Kamala, but he is far from MAGA, so careful with that. Retard Finder, you sound like a left-wing lunatic. The right is now indistinguishable from the left. Yeah, so you sound like a left-wing lunatic. I would agree. I have a lot of respect for Ben Shapiro's intellect. However, yes, to me, he does sound like a left-wing lunatic. Why? Because he's using the woke mind virus playbook, which I wish was just still used on the left. I am going to smear your entire character with one word, labeling you as a hateful person if you don't comply with me. Do you like that tyranny? And the word of the day is anti-Semite. Again, this is Ben Shapiro's comment section. He's kind of getting ratioed. Someone reposting this tweet from December 2020. This tweet, Shapiro, I will never vote for Donald Trump. Here's why. Got it. Ben Shapiro being kind of woke when it comes to Pfizer. Now, a lot of people have lost interest in Ben Shapiro. I'm guessing this campaign is making people lose more interest in him. And one of the reasons why people have just become disinterested with him is since October 7th, 2023, he kind of had a slow burn of being Israel before America. And that's a little bit of a problem when Americans are listening. Here's a quick kind of proof of that. We'll get back to the video in just a second, but first, I want to tell you about Bond Charge's infrared sauna blanket. Because we're living in a new paradigm of health, where now even the common person has woken up and realized nobody's healthy by accident anymore. 73% of people are overweight and obese. We have 77% of young people unfit for military service. 6 out of 10 kids have a chronic disease. And it's not just disease you need to be aware of. It's the reduced quality of life, reduced energy that you have every day when you're not healthy. That's why I absolutely love my infrared sauna blanket. You can burn up to 600 calories in one session, flush out toxins. It's an excellent way to reduce stress, and I always sleep better. And I always keep in mind the study out of Finland that shows regular sauna use equals a 40% reduction in all-cause mortality. The infrared sauna blanket is the most convenient, affordable sauna system on the market. It's powerful, heats up quickly, cleans up quickly. I love mine. If you want to take responsibility for your health and how you feel and function on a daily basis, go to bondcharge.com/JPReacts and check out the infrared sauna blanket. Be sure to use the discount code JPReacts for 15% off. And for even more savings, you should know all Bond Charge products are HSA, FSA eligible, offering you up to a 40% tax savings. That's bondcharge.com/JPReacts. Now back to the video.
Every Jew throughout world history who has a brain and knows history has always wondered if a country that is not a Jewish state is going to eternally provide them security guarantees and full citizenship, of course. I mean, that's I think to think that that's why the existence of the state of Israel is the single greatest guarantor of my loyalty to the United States, frankly. Right? Because Israel exists, that means the United States is going to be a more welcoming place for me, because Israel is there as a backstop.
Yeah, kind of sounds like he values Israel more than the United States, which is his prerogative. I do genuinely believe he does, and I'm not shaming him for that. I value the United States more, and I would respect that as his position. But what I don't respect is the leftist woke playbook of, I'm going to smear you as a Jew hater, anti-Semite, if you don't agree with me. No respect for that. Mark Levin, another guy leading the charge. I guess he's a podcaster or something. I'll give you the summary because I hate hearing this guy talk, to be quite honest with you. So in his tirade, Tucker Carlson's bad. Marjorie Taylor Greene is labeled as a traitor because she's not pro-Israel above America, which, as Glenn Greenwald points out, here it is. Mark Levin labels Marjorie Taylor Greene a traitor. To what country? One only owes duties of loyalty to the country of which one is a citizen, not a foreign country. You can't commit treason against a foreign country by definition. So because Marjorie Taylor Greene is so loyal to America, he calls her a traitor. Is that 1984 doublespeak? It actually is. Another summary, Mark Levin says politicians who won't condemn Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes need to be afraid. Now, how's that going for Mark Levin? Well, seemingly not so well. Here he is. He had this random tweet earlier today. We're inundated with foreign bots in the comments. Just ignore them. It doesn't appear to be the case. He seems to be getting ratioed in the comments. Not widespread support, but the majority of his comments are people just calling him out for looking like an idiot. Let's investigate. Here's one of the comments. Again, none of these are bots. Just here for the comments. This one's actually so clever. Skin Diesel found a foreign bot. It's funny because he's acting like an agent of Israel. That's funny. I guarantee you every one of these foreign bots ratioing you is an American. Mark, when real people tell him exactly what's going on. Bots are everywhere. So before we get to Tucker's response, I'm sure the accusations that have come at me, let's just summarize and say it doesn't appear as though this woke tactic is working, where pro-Israel at all cost faction, the Ben Shapiro's, Mark Levin's leading the charge, it doesn't appear as though that's having much of an effect. It doesn't seem to be winning favor. People on the right, they're not really the ones that fall for intimidation tactics. I don't think they're changing many people's minds. There's folks that were already like, yeah, I'm on board with that. Let's call them anti-Semites. But it appears as though the damage that's being done is to their own reputations. Now, here's accusations that have come at me recently. Now, I have had questions about Israel, and let me be nuanced. instead of Officer Tatum just labeling people like me an anti-Semite, let me be nuanced. I have a lot of questions about the Israeli government, not the Israeli people. I love Jewish people. Two of my absolute best friends are Jewish. So having questions about a government that is a world power, suspecting there might be nefarious activity, that's a very reasonable thing to be curious about. Questions like, gosh, the U.S. sure does a lot of support of Israel. What do we get in return? Questions like, who is Epstein working for? Do you know anything about that? Israel? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. We'll leave Rothschilds and Zionism for a later discussion, but those are just like some questions. By the way, Netanyahu, you first took office in 96. Golly, that was a while ago. You still really want to be in power? So because I have questions, recently I made a video where I was interviewing Benjamin Netanyahu. Stirred some accusations at me. Tell you about those in a second, but first, here's a quick opening clip of the video. Mr. Prime Minister Netanyahu, it is an honor to sit with you. Now, the American people's position is they seem to have a lot of questions about Israel's relationship with the U.S.
Would be unnatural to have a different position.
Right, of course, completely unnatural. You know, sometimes stupid people have stupid questions because they don't know the correct answer. And one of the questions right before his death, I'm going to ask you about your phone call with Charlie Kirk.
No, you're not.
Of course, there's no reason we can't just move right along. Now, I put that video out because I like to question things that seem suspicious to me. So I was doing what I normally do, and I've raised questions about Israel for a while now because I like to question everything. Yet in the comments section, there was so much support for this line of, call it questioning done satirically. Overwhelming majority of support. However, I saw a reoccurring trend of people calling me an anti-Semite. Now, I said, I don't think I am. What the hell does that word mean exactly? Because words matter. I don't want to make assumptions. So I looked it up. An anti-Semite is a person who harbors hostility, prejudice, or discrimination against Jews as a religious, ethnic, or racial group. And I can fact check that and say, I'm not an anti-Semite. I do not hate Jews. I have no hostility towards them. I do have hostility towards deceptive governments. I'm definitely an anti-deceptive government-ite, if we want to coin that word. But I can factually say, no, I am absolutely not anti-Semitic. I'm not questioning Jewish people. I am questioning the leader of a government that has some interesting things happening in them. So yeah, there's the woke mind virus coming at me, trying to character assassinate me with their word of the month, because I'm not towing the line that they want. And then I saw some other comments appearing to be people from Israel saying, you don't support Israeli people, yada, yada, yada. And then I thought, no, I do support Israeli people. I love people. I love Canadian people. I love people. As long as you're acting decently, I love people and I support them. I support Americans. I support Ukrainians. Now, how far do I support them? That's the question. Do I support Ukrainians in the sense of I think we should send billions and billions of dollars of weapons over there to fight a war that can't be won? Well, no, I don't support them that much. So it's kind of like, yeah, what's your gauge of support? Like, I love you and I want the best for you. Do you want more support than that? If you have unrealistic expectations of how much support you deserve, maybe I fall shy of that. It's kind of like if someone in my neighborhood was a single mother, couple kids, she came to me and said, JP, my kids are on the verge of going hungry. Can you support me by giving me $1,000 a month? My answer, absolutely. I can and I will support you that way. But then if that same mother came to me the next week and said, JP, you want to support me, don't you? I said, yeah, absolutely I do. I need $30,000 a month from you. Nope, I'm not going to support her that much. I will not support someone to a larger extent than I support my own family. In other words, metaphorically and literally, I am America first. I believe in supporting people. What are your expectations of what that support should look like? If they're unreasonable, if you believe I should support you beyond the extent that I support my own family, my own country, then I won't meet your criteria of what support means to you. But inherently, I support you. And I support you having reasonable expectations. Now, because we've seen the first side, pro-Israel woke mind virus is running rampant there, let's hear some leveler minds prevailing. Now, Brett Weinstein, who is an excellent person to hear from on this because he is Jewish, he is an American. I believe he's been to Israel. Let's see what he has to say. I wish Israelis understood what is happening to the goodwill towards Israel that existed in the U.S., and more importantly, why that goodwill is evaporating. Say more, Brett. There is considerable anti-Semitism here, and it's spreading. But there are also legitimate questions that are being shut down with false accusations of bigotry. That's woke mind virus at work, ladies and gentlemen. That has to stop. It is pushing the anti-Semites and the people with legitimate concerns onto the same team. A colossal blunder. I agree with Brett Weinstein. I think that is excellently said. Here's one of Brett's questions. Has the Israeli government used sex trafficking as a tool of statecraft? And if so, to what effect? Oh my goodness. I bet it would be so tempting for a Ben Shapiro, Officer Tatum of the world, to come out and label Brett Weinstein an anti-Semite. For asking that question, if I ask that question, and I would be labeled, and I have been labeled an anti-Semite. However, the brilliance of Brett Weinstein is he knows that woke tactic will make them look as dumb as them calling black people racist for supporting Donald Trump, because Brett Weinstein is, drumroll, Jewish himself. The response to this next tweet of Mark Levin's is what I want to get to. Here's what he says. We will lose our party, our movement, and our country if we do not separate ourselves openly, vocally, and loudly against this cancer. I guess the cancer being led by Tucker Carlson. The Democrat Party has been devoured by this. Yes, they have. And I dare say he's spreading the cancer. And Carol has this to say, trying to convince America to separate from America first in favor of a foreign nation is a hilarious hill to watch you all try to hold. I agree. Now, as this well-orchestrated, once again, ladies and gentlemen, campaign, which is the opposite of authenticity, came out, Tucker Carlson jumped on with Dave Smith to discuss his thoughts on these accusations coming at Tucker and them using Tucker to try to leverage people, the character assassination of Tucker, to try to leverage people to join their side. By the way, how's that working for them? But here's what Tucker had to say.
And then you realize, of course, it's not about you or what you said. It's about something bigger. And there are a couple of things. I mean, the most obvious on a political level, this is a fight over what happens after Donald Trump. What does the Republican Party look like? Does it actually adopt an America first foreign policy as promised 10 years ago? Or does it maintain its neoconservative posture, which is very unpopular with the public and has borne no fruit? I mean, it's been a disaster on every level for the United States.
We'll get back to Tucker in a second. Let me summarize what I heard Tucker say. When a firestorm's coming at you, it's hard to have this level of acute vision. So I love his perspective, which is basically, yeah, this cancellation campaign towards me and people who enjoy me. This is about the 2028 presidential election and what faction within the Republican Party will take control. That's what he sees. Someone who will be like Israel first, or someone who will be America first.
Since 9/11, at least. But what happens after Trump goes? And that's what this is about. That's why they're vesting the energy in this. That's what the rage is about, because they don't want to lose control of foreign policy. I just can't say that enough. It's about foreign policy. They don't care about domestic policy because they don't care about the United States, but they do care about the U.S. Treasury and the Pentagon the projection of force on behalf of Israel. And so that's what they're arguing about. And again, that's a very unpopular position with the public, which is why they don't say it out loud. My position has always been, I'm not ashamed of my views. I'm happy to talk about my views with anybody. I don't think I have any reason to be ashamed of my views. I think they're actually kind of moderate, honestly. They're different from the way things are operating now. And of course, I disagree with the direction the U.S. government's taking in a whole bunch of different ways, but I don't think we should burn the U.S. government down. My view, which I know is yours as well, is the U.S. government should act on behalf of American citizens. America first. Doesn't mean a bellicose posture, doesn't mean you attack people. In fact, it probably means you attack fewer people and you shed less blood. You act on behalf of your citizens. They own the government. They pay for the government. It's in their name that all this is being conducted. So that's a really simple concept. It's the most powerful, resonant concept in American politics. It brought Trump the majority of the popular vote. And I believe it. I sincerely believe that. And most people do. They don't. So that's what this really is about.
And just like when Fox canceled Tucker, Tucker only got bigger. What will this cancellation, this cancel culture attempt on Tucker's character do to Tucker? My guess is make him bigger. Tucker won't be intimidated. And people on the right who are thinking for themselves, if they're thinking for themselves and they enjoy Tucker's pursuit of truth, I think that will make them even bigger Tucker fans. Meanwhile, I think the people doing the canceling, while claiming they're not doing canceling, while literally saying they're trying to cancel these people, the Officer Tatums, the Ben Shapiros, Mark Levins, I do believe they're losing credibility. And I can also say personally, as I've been questioning the Israeli government for a while now, doing it more and more, and having people come at me, smearing me with woke mind virus playbook, and having this cancel culture thing come out, that just makes me say, yeah, this really needs to be questioned. Because this kind of woke orchestration, it doesn't happen organically, and when they're trying to ruin people's entire reputation with a one-word accusation that is largely used inaccurately, that's typically not coming from the side of truth, which makes me convinced what I've been questioning, Israel, needs to be questioned even more. That's what I think. With that said, let me know what you think about this whole civil war going on in the comments below, and I'll look forward to seeing you on our next video.